God wants us to be performing this metaphor so that he knows that we know that we should be draining life out of something to say sorry for things. Like, what is happening here? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I read Bible so that you don't have to. And that's right, we're suffering through Leviticus at this time. And is it enjoyable? Well, sometimes there's moments of levity, moments of fun. And if you love blood and gore, you've come to the right place. If you love animals being gratuitously killed, well then, of course you're in the right place. It's happening left, right, and center. I mean, it's a bloodbath in the desert. And that wasn't even my real accent. That's right, this is the way I actually talk. So if you're not impressed by that, I don't know if you're going to be impressed by anything in the Bible, because that is one of the most coolest things you are actually probably ever going to see on YouTube or hear from someone who read Bible. So I feel like I'm overcompensating for how uninteresting a lot of Bible is. By the way, this is going to be a fascinating episode, and in the spirit of retention, watch the whole thing, because we're going to be reading verse 16, and you're not going to want to miss that. That's the last verse in this chapter. Honestly, you are not going to want to miss it. I haven't read it yet. But yeah, we're here at Leviticus chapter 17, and I would love for just like 1 or 2 subscribers. So if you guys can discuss amongst yourselves, everyone who's watched this, just like who's going to subscribe, that'd be great. Everyone should leave a comment. Yeah, everyone should leave a comment, watch the whole thing, and then like it. Let me see this handbook. Should everyone leave a comment on your YouTube video? Yeah, everyone should leave a comment, it says over there. So if everyone could just do that, do the comment. Perfect. Thank you. Then we'll get started. Okay, perfect. Leviticus chapter 17. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and to his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say to them," so that's the accent of God. I don't always do the voice in every episode because it's hard to sound like God. And then God does an imitation of Moses speaking to the people of Israel as him. "This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. Whatever man there is of the house of Israel who kills a bull or lamb or goat in the camp, or who kills it outside of the camp and hasn't brought it to the door of the tent of meeting to offer it as an offering to Yahweh before Yahweh's tabernacle, blood shall be imputed to that man. He shall shed blood. That blood shall be cut off from among his people. This is to the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they sacrifice in the open field, that they may bring them to Yahweh, to the door of the tent of meeting, to the priest, and sacrifice them for sacrifices of peace offering to Yahweh. And the priest shall sprinkle the blood on Yahweh's altar at the door of the tent of meeting and burn the fat for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. They shall no more sacrifice their sacrifices to the goat idols, after which they play the prostitute. This shall be a statute forever to them throughout their generations." So that's how Yahweh thinks Moses talks. Like whenever he hears Moses talking, he's always like, "Why do you sound like that?" And Moses is like, "I don't. Like, I actually speak pretty normal, actually. Like, I don't know why you're saying that about me." And Yahweh's like, "Are you hearing yourself? You sound like this." "Yeah, I don't talk like that. I am such a normal guy." And so that's what's happening here, is that Yahweh is sort of mocking Moses in a sense. And he's saying all the things that he wants him to say and like getting the message across. But he's doing it in a way that sort of like undercuts Moses' confidence, because if he like negs him and keeps him feeling down, this is a way that Yahweh just maintains his control over this pathetic human. And that's Yahweh's just petty like that. By the way, this is all me just making up stuff that's in the Bible. There's no basis for it, but I think it's because I'm reading too much of the Bible. I'm kind of becoming a Christian, so I sort of just like add extra information that nobody would ever imagine is there, but I just kind of want it to be there because I think it's funny to imagine Yahweh mocking Moses in that way. I don't think anyone does a better Yahweh impression than me, quite frankly. So this is kind of interesting that there's this new move that's happening in the Hebrew culture here. The priest class, or the government, essentially, they're doctors. They're the government, right? They're the big cheeses. Not to be confused for the big Jesus, but they want to know about all the sacrifices. It's kind of like when the government wants you to declare all the money you make. They want it all to go through your bank account. They don't want you to receive cash. Whenever you receive money, they know and they can tax you on it. I think it's that sort of thing that's happening here. They're like, don't sacrifice things out in the wilderness. You think that you're doing something good, and your heart's probably in the right place, but you're basically sacrificing to goat idols, and then you're banging. We didn't do any of that. We were literally just doing what Yahweh said, but we were just doing it just privately on our own. No. You got to bring that to us, because we actually eat some of that. And so if you could bring that in. Look, we have some babes at the door of the tent of meeting. That's not a problem. We have babes here too. Can't play prostitute with them. That's against the rules. But at least you can ogle. You can ogle if you really do so much desire. And you could probably marry them. But we're worried that you're going to be out in the wilderness and play prostitute with them, have a good time. And Yahweh doesn't want that. So bring them to us. I think this is just a move for a little bit more control. You shall say to them, any man there is of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice and doesn't bring it to the door of the tent of meeting to sacrifice to Yahweh, that man shall be cut off from his people. So they're just setting that consequence. There's a lot of cutting off from the people, which I love Jewish people. And I bet you there was some just grade A ancient Hebrews. But when you read the book and all the tomfoolery that they were doing earlier in the book, screwing over their family members, not asking consent when they slept with their slaves, and sending their family out into the desert, brothers selling their one brother into slavery, being cut off from these people seems like it would be a bit of a bonus. You probably would get just like this rebirth in a sense. Does anyone know that concept? Does that make sense? You would be able to go and just meet new people, right? The Philistines, the Midianites, the Canaanites, probably don't hang out with some of them because they are, they're going to be genocided later. But people that you go, hey, I thought my brethren were cool and sisterin, but you guys are actually way cooler. You're not even killing half as many animals. You guys do a lot more playing of prostitute, which I like. It's you have yet to stone someone who curses their parents. I actually really enjoy you. Any man of the house of Israel or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who eats any kind of blood, I will set my face against that soul who eats blood, and will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. I have given it to you on the altar to make atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that makes atonement by reason of the life. Therefore I have said to the children of Israel, no person among you may eat blood, nor may any stranger who lives as a foreigner among you eat blood. Blood pudding that British people eat, which must be sin. If you were Hebrew and you were, what is this again? Oh yeah, that's just blood. Oh no, I will be cut off. They just don't eat blood. Obviously, you're going to come across blood. I guess you have to cook the heck out of a steak. I like my steak very rare, and that's sinful, I'm guessing. I would be cut off from my people because there is still blood there. I think Bible here is saying you got to cook your steaks to super well done. You got to ruin your steaks. All of your meat must be wrecked and completely gross and difficult to eat. God has horrible taste. He doesn't know how bread is made. He hates yeast. He wants everything to have all the blood cooked out of it. It sucks. And I feel bad for these ancient Hebrews. They probably had good food in Egypt. I bet you back in Egypt, because they already said this, like, we never went hungry. We were eating great food all the time. Yeah, no wonder Yahweh's like, no, you're eating what I like now. Overcooked steak. No one can eat anything that's a little bit bloody. Burn it. But verse 11 is interesting because it says the life of the flesh is in the blood. It is the blood that makes atonement by reason of the life. I guess we already kind of knew that. Now they're just kind of driving it home and putting a button on it. Saying it just seems significant to me because I've heard people give this apologetic, and now I'm seeing where they got it from. It's from this verse. But I guess it still doesn't answer the why do we need this. God wants us to be performing this metaphor so that he knows that we know that we should be draining life out of something to say sorry for things. Like, this is the trick that happens in these religions, is that it seems all of a sudden like to come into focus. Right, blood is life-giving. So of course you would have to sacrifice this thing for your life and for your sin and et cetera, et cetera. But really, that's still arbitrary. It still is like just someone coming up with the thing. And it's not real. It's not like this is actual, like some sort of trade-off. There's not real sin or whatever it is you're trying to trade off. You're trying to perform a metaphor. Like, what is happening here? Whatever man there is of the children of Israel or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who takes in hunting any animal or bird that may be eaten, he shall pour out its blood and cover it with dust. Hide the blood. Sweep the blood under the carpet. God's like, I made everything to have blood, but like I love it and hate it. I don't know. I've got like mixed feelings about it. So if you could like hide all the blood that you spill, that'd be great. Because I get queasy. I don't like seeing blood. That's why I contained it in everybody's flesh bags. But whenever it's spilled, even though I've commanded most of the spilling of the blood, ironically, I just want it covered up. I don't know. This is very backwards. For as to the life of all flesh, its blood is with its life. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, you shall not eat the blood of any kind of flesh. For the life of all flesh is its blood. Whoever eats it shall be cut off. It's like a non-statement. You shall not eat the blood of any kind of flesh. Because the life of all flesh is in its blood. But why not? Why are we not going to eat the blood of any kind of flesh? Like, why not? Well, no, because the blood is the life of the flesh. Yeah, I know, but that's not a because. This just shows how we made up this and we'll make that up too. Every person that eats what dies of itself, or that which is torn by animals, whether he is native born or a foreigner, shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in the water and be unclean until evening. Then he shall be clean. But if he doesn't wash them or bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity. So I think that verse is sort of saying, like, if a person eats what dies of itself, so it might have diseases. He already said not to do this a few chapters ago. Or that which is torn by animals. So like there's going to be bacteria that the other animal has like left on this, the animal that it ripped apart. It's like, don't eat that. But if you do eat it, now we're getting but if you do, whether he's Hebrew or a foreigner, he's got to wash his clothes and bathe himself with water and be unclean until evening, and then he shall be clean. But if he doesn't do that, then he shall bear his iniquity. Again, it feels like they're worried about something practical, which they probably don't understand, but maybe somebody got like a funny tummy because they ate an animal that was lying there with flies on it. And they were like, I'm not feeling well after that. And like, why? I guess there's something sinful about this, you know? They were torn apart by a rabid jackal. The guy got rabies, and they're like, that guy's so sinful right now, he's even possessed by a demon. I don't think they have demons yet. They go, the solve for this, we got a solve for it, pretty good solve. have a shower and wash your clothes, and then just imagine that you're unclean. You'll be fine. Nothing that you do will harm you. After you have a shower, you're fine. Basically, a bath fixes everything. So anyway, that's chapter 17, guys. You don't want to miss next chapter. I think our next chapter is going to be a big one. So please make sure you come back for chapter 18, because I already know what's in that chapter, and it is a riot. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Comment on the video and like it if you want to be so kind. And we'll see you for Leviticus 18. Bye. Oh no, that one was torn up by animals and you ate it by a rabid coyote or something. Do they have coyotes in the Israel area? I don't know where they are. Mount Sinai or Horeb? Jackals. That's a good one.